Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience and still, for still staying on the online. I know that when I said we're going to be doing CV techniques and all that, some of us might some one of the experience I've had is that some people they will have got their camera ready, position the camera on the screen, ready to take screenshots and go and copy and paste. We don't encourage that here. The purpose and the reason why we ask you to give us a free brief information of what you've learned so far is just for us to know or to see if you have enough information that should go into your CV. Today I will be taking you through best approach of how you can actually put your CV out there in a way that will not create any form of suspicion, and it will put your CV in front of recruiters, and how you can actually construct your CV in a very, very beautiful and straightforward way. Also, I want you to know that the information you put on your CV is your selling point. What takes you to your what takes you to the what helps you to get the job first is your CV. Your CV is your first point of contact. That is what tells the whole world or your recruiter or your employer information about you, who you are, what you have done before, what you are doing presently, and what you may be capable of doing. And because of that, as I've mentioned earlier, a lot of information you need to put inside your CV that has been mentioned on your inside your LMS, which, if possible, you might need to go back and start your LMS all over again to jot those important information down and relate it to present tense or past tense, or in a tense of a continuous process of what you are doing in a current place of work. For those of us that we are new to the country, possibly maybe you haven't spent up to 2 years in the country, you need to ensure that your current place of work is stating UK. And those of us that were coming from Nigeria or from any part of the world in the last 2 years, I want to advise you that you should not over put too much of things that is outside UK inside your CV, particularly if it is Nigeria or Africa or any country that they are even any country that are in what is it called now, list of countries that are of risk or high risk countries. You know, it's not because you are not proud of your country or because your country is really that bad, but it's just because of the name that the country itself have made, and the level of reputation and respect that country has. I'm not saying Nigeria is a great country, but Africa, Asian, we're all great people, great countries, but because you are applying in the UK, let me say it that way, because you are applying in the UK, I would personally advise you to put your experience to relate with something within UK. If outside the UK, maybe Europe, maybe US, maybe Canada, that's to show that you are quite Western, and your idea and way of thinking is in line with the organization and the environment and the system where you want to work. So please, let's bear that in mind. Now, CV writing. There are some segments and sections in CV writing which I want you to pay attention to and be well diligent in constructing those things. This will help you. Now, the first section of it is the detailed information about you, who you are, just for us to find you and find information about you easily without giving us too much stress. If finding information about you is becoming too stressful, that may knock you off, even though the content of your CV is good. For those of us that we have many names, it will be better if you can put just one name at the top of your CV. The reason is because if you put too much information there, it might be your CV, you yourself might be at risk, because your CV, there are a lot of people out there that are not actually looking for you because they want to offer you an interview or a job, but just because they're just looking for information of people to steal. I'm sure we're all aware that if you put too much of information, your personal information out there, it's easier for people to use those information to locate, to hack into your business or into your account or to impersonate you and use your name for shady things. So we need to be careful about that aspect as well. So putting your CV out there is just to still show that it is you, and the information you put there is still representing you, but it is not too much of information about yourself. And the information you are putting there is correct still, even though it's not every information about yourself. And also, the information you're putting out there is justifying your personality and the location of where you are, and so on and so forth. What we are saying in essence is that do not be careful of the information you put on your CV first. For example, if your name is Alessandra Adekola Olaosebikan Aderibigbe, that's a lot of names. Or maybe your name is Morenikeji Sylvia Ugochukwu Alex. Alex is a name that is quite familiar to everyone, especially in an environment where we are living. It's an English name. So why not use the English name? Just one English name, your first name, not your last name. So if you have an English name, what we say in essence is that if you have an English name, use just one English name that is inside your passport. Just one. For example, if I were you, I would just write David. Right? I don't need to write all my names. Just one name. Your first name is okay. You don't need to write your last name. Also, your address. Number 22, Alessandra Road, London. That information is enough. London shows that that is the current location of where you live. 23 Alessandra Road shows that that is the street you live. If you like, you can put the postcode. If you like, you don't need to put the postcode. At least you've put sufficient information there to show that is where you live. The reason why you need this information location is if the job you are looking for is remote. So it's not remote, it is office based, and you might need to come to the location every day. If not, if the recruiter actually needs someone within in London, then it has showed that you are living in London, right? If it is a role that is actually hybrid, that you might need to travel from one location to the other, yeah, you can put the postcode for the recruiter to find the proximity of where you live to where you want to work, so that if they want to check for you to say, okay, this person, if we employ this person eventually, will this person be able to make it to work 2 times or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times a week? Let's look at the distance of where he lives or she lives to where we're working. So you can put a postcode there. So those are the important reasons why you need to put your address. Then your email address is where they will contact you with. Always ensure that the email address you put there is your work email, and that work email is working. It is working correctly. You've tested it and you know that it is working. Check and send information to yourself. Email yourself on that email address and resend information back, and be sure the email is working. Also, your telephone number, just one telephone number is good. Don't put 2 or 3 or 4 telephone number. You don't need to put your home telephone number and a personal telephone number. Put your hotline, the one that you want them to reach you on. That if they don't reach you on this, that means they cannot reach you on any other email, on any other phone number. Just one, it's okay. So in essence, first information we're mentioning here, your first name, not your last name, not your other names, is okay. Particularly if it is English name, that is fine. If you don't have an English name, then use your first name, just one, to protect your identity from being attacked or stolen. You don't need to put too much information for you to make yourself to hide sometimes, because sometimes if you go and put, oh, Mr. Taufik has gone, I will have told him to tell you his experience about putting his name Abdul Taufik Fatai, this and that. When you use all those names, the effect of your name on your CV sometimes can be detrimental, or might give you a positive or a negative. It might give a positive or negative effect. So if you have an English name, use it. If you don't have an English name, use one of your name, your first name, not your last name. Your address, location. Let's just say location is good. Just put it there. Your email address, just one, and one telephone number that you know is working. Now, let's go to profile. Profile. This is how you should construct your profile. For example, your profile should, when you, is the first thing that tells us the summary of everything about you, what you are capable of doing, what you've done before, what you've been trusted on before, and so on and so forth. And this profile, in writing it, please don't let it go beyond 10 to 12 to, in fact, 10 to 15 lines. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 lines. And this 11 line is just separated in 3 paragraphs. The reason why you should do it that way is that somebody might pick up your CV and they want to have a glance through of who you are. The first 3 paragraphs should tell us who you are, few information about you. Now I'm going to give us an example. Let's see profile of this person. Okay, this person put our own profile together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines. And this shows us every information about the person, what the person has done before, what you've read, your skills, your experience, who you are, your level of education, etc., and the area and sectors that you've worked on or you have worked in before. What we are saying in essence is that these particular types, your profile should not be too elaborate, not too much, not too long. You can see for this example now, this person says a graduate business analyst, customer representative, as well as program management office analyst with various customer experience across public and private, this and that, private sector. This is the summary of this person's information, and the person has been able to capture to us what he or she has done, the length and breadth and high and low of everything, few information about their skills, what they've done before, where they have worked. You can see here communication skills, extremely self-oriented, proactive in escalating, and so on and so forth. So brief information about you is what we need about your profile. Not too long, not too much. Maximum of 3 paragraphs, maximum of 12 lines is good. And that everything you'll be showing here in your profile should showcase every other information or detailed information you will find inside your CV. Now, the next part you should do or you should concentrate on is if you have qualification and membership or certification. Now, the certification and qualification you are putting there should not be more than 4 to 5 lines. You should write it in lines. One line, the second one, another line, a third one, another line. Make it relative to the country you are living, as well as something relative to the course, to the job you are looking for. If you have first degree in agriculture and you are looking for KYC work, if you have not worked in the Ministry of Finance and Agriculture, which is going to reflect in part of the way you have worked before, there is no need for you to put graduate of agriculture here or BSc in agriculture, because agriculture has nothing to do with KYC. Am I speaking with people? Hello? Hello?
Yes, all clear, sir.
Great, thank you very much.
Hi.
Great. I just want to know if I'm not speaking to myself. Where is it? Okay. Now, so you don't need to put your primary education, the certificate there. It's far away. You're about 40 something or 30 something or 20 something, and you are giving a certificate, your first living certificate. We don't need all that. Put information, membership, certification that is relevant to what you are looking for on qualification, membership, certification. You can write it in one line. One line this way. So this column, one line, your membership, your certification, your everything that you've done related to what you are looking for in maximum of 5 lines, maximum. Now, let's go forward. The next part that you need to look at is your skills, your key skills. Look at this part, this key skills we've put here. A lot of us, we have a lot of key skills, which most of us, we claim that we have good communication and verbal and written communication. There are a lot of information or skills that are relevant to what you want to do, like resource management, like reporting and finance, budgeting, like, okay, let's say time management, escalation, escalating and outreaching and all that. You need to put attention to details, etc., write them in lines, by line, and make it very brilliant to look at. You can see this one now. You can see that this person put in there, I mean, this structure, it is written line by line, and it all form steps. You can see it forms steps, step by step, step by step, step by step. And you can see that there are some important information here that are highlighted and made bold. Can you see that? This information I bold. Say, for example, you write in your CV that ability to identify and escalate, ability to identify threat or risk and do outreach. For example, the word outreach is an important word in KYC, isn't it? When you are doing your ID and V, do you agree with me? Is anyone that agrees with me on that? Great. So when you put that kind of a word now, you highlight it. Also, let's say you are writing, okay, another skills that you have, maybe ability to verify and somebody should give me a word. Verify and maybe your ability to identify issues or risk or whatever. So what we are saying is that your skills, linking your skills and what you want to do to what you are writing, and identifying those important points while you are writing your skills is very important, and you need to highlight them. Sometimes it is not compulsory you have to do it. It's not a standard that you have to do it, but I will always encourage you to do it. The reason is because if somebody pick up your CV and they want to have a glance on your CV in 3 minutes, there are some information that they want to catch, they want their eyes to catch, and those information that have been highlighted will be more catchy to that person's side than every other information you put in there. However, if the recruiter looking for a KYC analyst in Rochdale, for example, let's say the company is in Rochdale and you live in Rochdale, if you put, and the person has searched information they need, and they could find important information that they need based on the requirement of the company on your CV. Number one, they've been able to find you out that you are a KYC analyst, you live in Rochdale, and they're looking for somebody that knows how to do outreach. They need somebody that knows how to identify and red flag a potential customer that is in sanction list and all that. You know, those information that you have highlighted calls the attention of the recruiter into it, and also when they are searching for keywords, because you have highlighted it, makes those keywords, makes your CV pump out first above other CVs. So you can see the way this is arranged, well structured. Arrange it line by line, well structured. Don't write it in epistles. Don't write epistles like writing 3 lines or 4 lines when you are writing your key skills. Don't write like ability to do this and that and this and this and this and already you have written it in about 10, I mean about 2 lines. Just short words, skills. Let me show you an example, maybe with let's see this. Let's look at this CV. Yes. Oh, what are we saying? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Let me stop sharing this. I will share another one. Let's look at this person's CV, for example. Analytic skill with attention to detail, early identification and escalation of risk, excellent customer service and US experience, a clear, articulate technical and project requirements. Now you can see that it's all well arranged, and important points are actually highlighted. So it's easier for somebody bringing out this CV to see attention to detail, curation and monitoring, identification, UI's experience, project requirement, time management, take ownership, new business functions, strong communication, identify opportunity, software application, process improvement, IT skills. So important information or important keywords has been set out here. So this person does not even need to take too much time on your CV to realize that this is what they are looking for. This is the skill set of the person they are looking for, right? Do we get it to that point? Hello?
Yes, please. Yes.
Great. Okay. So we're clear about writing skill sets. Key skills. Now let's go to career history. Please, it is important that we know that when you are writing your career history, you write your most recent job, the particular place you are working presently, the first contact you want us, or the person you want the recruiter to contact first, based on your current experience and where you work. For example, if you want to say that you work with Nine-Right Word is the managing firm for Achievers Networks UK, and you want to say you work in Nine-Right Word. Let me say this before I forget, that if you want to use Nine-Right Word as your reference, always use it must always be between July 2020 till date. Right. Now, let's look at it. You are writing based on current situation where you are working with Nine-Right Word Limited, and you've written a brief information about Nine-Right Word, meaning that if the recruiter says, okay, you say you're working in Nine-Right Word, let's go and find out what Nine-Right Word does. Let's go and check the information about them, background information, even if what they do is related to KYC. Let's go online and check. They can find this information there. Now, because Nine-Right Word is a consulting firm that can, and also a resource management firm that can send you to work with other organization or third-party organization, you can list out the names of third-party organization you have worked for. For example, you have worked with Sky, you have worked with British Gas, you have worked with KPMG, you have worked with Cooperative Bank, you've worked with Lloyds Bank, you've worked with any other places that you want to mention. You can mention that, okay, you are a contractor, you've worked with this organization, and you've as a resource, and you have been a KYC working with them in different capacity at different locations with different third-party organizations, such as, you can put example here. You get what I'm saying? If I have to send this, if you are doing your CV and you want to use Nine-Right Word as your reference, we're going to send this particular parts to you, which all you need to do is to copy this part and use it as your reference, as your preamble information about the current place you are working. And in terms of dates, you will write your date. Say, for example, you want to say you started working in August 2022 till date. So the first month, the month you started, has to be written first till the present time, till date. Now, coming back to the particular organization you work for or where you are working presently, let's assume that the name of the place is Sky Power Limited, for example, or let's say the name of the place is British Gas or KPMG Limited, whatever. Now, you write the name of the company you are working currently, that you have been outsourced to. Let me put it that way. Then the company that, your role there. For example, Mr. Valentine, can you give us a name and an example of a role here that you can say you are working as?
Come again, please.
Can you give us an example of a name of the role you say you're working as currently?
Okay, currently a role. Okay, I'm AML and KYC analyst.
AML and KYC analyst. So when you are writing AML, you don't just write AML, you write anti-money laundering AML slash KYC. No, you write not KYC, right? Know your customer, then KYC analyst.
All right.
You get it? It's not everyone that knows what KYC is. You might assume that everyone knows, but it's not everyone that knows. You know, so particularly when you are writing it for the first time, you might write KYC. For example, you're writing it for the first time here. You write KYC. No, you write know your customer. KYC analyst. So maybe in the subsequent time when you are now writing it, you may not need to repeat know your customer again, because you've written it before and you've written what it means KYC as you continue. Now, Mr. Valentine, I sent something to you that you should put in there when you are writing your CV of your current location. What did I send to you? Is Mr. Valentine there?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you sent something which Madam Kenny corrected and revert to me back, but I didn't get back to you that this is the current situation. What you sent is business finance analyst and customer relationship expert. That's what you sent. Yeah, so she changed it to KYC slash AML analyst.
Right. Okay, let's say that is what you are using, KYC analyst. Like I said to you, you are right. I just want to remember what I asked you to write. Then that's why.
Yeah, that is what I mentioned now as well.
Right. Okay. So now, say for example, you are writing AML, anti-money laundering, AML analyst slash know your customer, KYC analyst. You've written that, and you've written the full name of what you have written, right? So when you are writing your roles, you equally need to write it in a way that is legible and good looking and fascinating to look at. Just look at the way we write. This one is written now. You can see that it falls in stages, line by line, line by line, line by line. It is not that. It's not that we have. Look at. Let's take an example. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Look at the way this thing is arranged. Does it look structured? Like the first 3 lines were longer than the first 3 or 4 lines, and in between the longer lines and other ones are like longer than the other. And do you see the difference now? This, you've written it the way you want to write it, but it is not as legible as the way it was before. You understand? It's still the same information, but what about the way it is arranged? Arranging it in a very certain way is to entice the person that wants to read your CV to pay attention to the content of what you've written there. You do not actually have to write it. If you are, whatever you are writing is going out of one line, then find a way to break it into 2 lines. But if you are not able to break it into 2 lines, then you can bring it down to the last line, or one of the last lines. Is that taken by everyone? Do we understand what I'm saying? Right. Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Right. Now you want to proceed to the next your previous experience beyond maybe 2000 and whatever that you want to write. Yeah. Here ended in July 2020. I mean, you said you start here July 2020 to 2022. That means that here the month before July is what? I mean, the month after July is what? August, right?
Yes.
So meaning that what have you been doing between before you start there and the previous time? So you have to like caption this side to this part. For example, I'm sure we all know that if there is a gap in between, let's say you say August 2022 to no, say for example, you now put here November 2022 to December 2011. Yeah, there's a gap between November and July, right? That's more than 3 months. This is in July, August, September, October, November, more than 3 months. Do we agree that the recruiter will question you to ask you what have you been doing between that 3 months? Because that time is beyond the time that you should go for holiday anyway. Do you agree with me? Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
You think the recruiter will ask you what were you doing within that 3 months?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So it is important that you do not allow gaps in between your CV to avoid unnecessary questioning or unnecessary delay or unnecessary unnecessary conversations or unnecessary investigations. Right. So the same way we did on this part, where we're able to identify the name of the company you are working for and capturing few information about what you do and what the company is all about, is equally good. And also writing the rest of what you have done in an eligible manner, step by step, in a very eligible manner. So now, I believe I've been able to cover for us with us career history, how you should write the name of the company you work for, writing background information about the company if there's need for that or if it exists, then how to write the date and how to move from the current date to the next date to the previous times. So that's just what we have here, and also how you should write it in an eligible manner. If there's need for you to break the lines, break it. If you cannot break the line for you to make a complete statement or a sentence or a phrase, then you can put that longer ones at the down part so that the shorter information you've written will be at the top. So you must constructively find a way to ensure that your CV is legible to look at, is nice to look at. You get what I'm saying? It's legibly written and it's nice to look at. Right. So the next thing after is your area of interest. Now, the interest you want to cover must be interest that is related to what you are doing. For example, if you say you like doing research, I think it's related to you being a KYC analyst. If you say that your interest is into verifying things or finding information or communication, your interest should align with the company policies, with what the organization is doing. If the role, for example, if the role you are applying for actually involves you traveling, right there, you like traveling, even though you know you don't like traveling, write it there so that they will see that this person likes traveling, even though he lives in London, he can actually travel to Scotland. If you know it's going to involve you driving, write it there, driving. Now, reference available on request. You do not need to put your reference in there before you put your CV out. You can't put the information there, reference available on request. Entirely, we have been able to go through importance and sections of CV writing, starting from your first contact information, your profile, your qualification, membership, and certification, your skills to career history, how it should be constructed and written. Also, interest and reference. Please don't allow your CV to go beyond maximum of 2 pages, or let me say to go beyond 2 pages. There's no need everything you want to write, please ensure that it's between 2 pages, not 1 page, at least 2 pages. If it must go to 3 pages, please do not allow the 3 pages to be a full 3 page. It might be half page or quarter page of the 3rd page, because when you put too much information there, you will bore the person that is looking for key information, and always prioritize key informations. Everything we have mentioned today, everything that has been mentioned in your LMS you've learned, are important things that you should put inside your CV. All those acronyms, when you write them at first, for example, you can write users experience, then you write maybe some other time you want to write users experience, you can write it just UI. I'm just using that as an example, you know. So you don't just write abbreviation without you have mentioned the full name earlier. Don't assume that they know it. You still need to write it. Then the subsequent one you want to write, then you can now write the abbreviations. Right. So that is it all about it for CV. So this is how we expect you to construct your CV. There are several ways online which you can write your CV, but the ones that I have done, that I have seen, that I've really seen that it really works, is this pattern. Your CV is not an art, it's not an artwork that you have to shade or use color, use pictures. You don't need to put your pictures in there. You don't need to shade or color anything, or use what is it called? You don't need to use columns. No, not columns now. What do they call this thing? You don't need to use boxes. Yes, you don't need to put them in boxes. Just use normal A4 paper and section it in a very simple and classic way. Not too much information. Don't write epistle, keywords, very detailed and sharp and simple and concise. Right? So so at the end of this week, we expect that we should start having everybody's CVs coming in, and we will be able to review it for you, and we expect you to start looking for a job. We will review your CV for you one-off, just as the same way we have done for Mr. Valentine. Mr. Valentine's CV is very fantastic. Mr. Valentine, I must mention that. And I told you, particularly when I saw it, if you want to help your team members to put them through on how they could do their own, you can contact Mr. Valentine. If he's willing, he can show you his CV if he likes. You know, we will not write your CV for you, because we will not help you to go and talk at the interview. Some people will tell you they are consulting firms, they will write CV for you. At the end of the day, you don't know what is inside your CV, and the person that will interview you will be interviewing you based on what you have inside your CV. I don't do that. I will tell you to go and write your CV first. If there's anything for me to add to it for you, then I can add it for you. Then I will call your attention to it, so that when somebody asks you, you said you have been this, you have been that before, tell us about it. You will not start looking up. You have full information about what is inside your CV. I will not do a CV for you that you will now go and sit down and start studying and reading your CV like you are reading a textbook. You know, when you write it yourself, you know what is there. But if you want us to now write it for you after the first review, then you can contact us. Then we'll talk about that, and I'm sure you know what that means. So that for now. Now I'm going to stop sharing on this, and I will stop recording on this. Then I will show you again what we expect you to do on your when you construct your CV. Now